Blessed love, all sistered and brethren.
Blessed.
Greetings in the name of His Imperial Majesty.
Oh, yeah. Rastafari.
We give thanks for the opportunity to be with you today and to share the work we've been doing. We are a group of students from Johns Hopkins University, and we spent the past several weeks working on a documentary dedicated to the life and legacy of the Honorable Ross Iris. As students, we recognize the privilege of being able to learn directly from the Rastafari community and to document stories that aren't always captured in history books or classrooms. This project is rooted in love, respect, and the desire to uplift voices that have long been foundational to not just the movement in Jamaica, but across the diaspora. The reason we felt compelled to focus on Ross Iris is because of his profound impact. He was not just a man of words, he was a man of works, a root of Rastafari liberty. Through his teachings, his mentorship, and his unwavering faith, he left a mark that continues to inspire. This documentary is both a tribute and a preservation of that legacy.
In order to capture the true depth of Ross Iris' influence, we've had the honor of reasoning with several powerful voices in the Rastafari community. Our interviews have taken us across generations and geographies, connecting us with elders and scholars who all bear witness to his impact. And some of those include Ross Senku, Sister Colleen, Mama Wilete, Mama Akua, Ross Senchi, Ross Kwasi, Ross Kaimo, Ross Pelly, Ross Aitru, Ross Sydney, Ross Roy, and Ross Carr, and many more. One of our first interviews was with Ross Pelly, who shared moving reflections about Iris' role in shaping the lyric language and preserving the principles of Rastafari. We also spoke with Ross Kwasi, who helped us understand the historical context in which Ross Iris emerged, and the social and political movements that shaped his living. These voices helped ground our documentary in lived experiences, giving us a richer understanding of the spiritual and cultural power Ross Iris carried. We also had the privilege of learning from our own Mama Walenti, who brought a deep personal and spiritual perspective. She reminded us that Ross Iris' legacy lives not only in the words he spoke, but in the lives he touched, and continue to touch through those who walk in the path of righteousness, liberty, and truth.
Throughout this journey, we have learned more than we ever expected, not just about Ross Iris, but about Rastafari as a revolutionary and evolutionary tradition. One of the most powerful lessons we've taken away is the importance of women in Rastafari. Too often overlooked in the mainstream telling of history, Rasta women have always been warriors, leaders, mothers, and spiritual anchors within the movement. Their contributions are central, and we wanted to make sure that this documentary reflects the truth. We also deepened our understanding of His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie I, not just as a historical figure, but as a spiritual compass. We learned how Ross Iris upheld His Majesty's teachings in everything he did, and how that connection to the divine continues to guide Rastafari worldwide. More importantly, we learned that Rastafari is not just about resisting Babylon, it's about building something better. Ross Iris showed us through education, community, and commitment, you can pass on knowledge in a way that transforms lives. That's what he meant by the University of Adversity, learning through life, through struggle, and through love.
At first, we did not fully know how to answer the question, who was Ross Iris? We came to this project with open hearts and a desire to listen. But as we interviewed elders, youth, and those who knew him personally, it became clear that Ross Iris wasn't just a person in the movement. He was a root, a source of nourishment, grounding, and wisdom in Rastafari liberty. But what really struck us is that he wasn't just deeply planted. He was planting others, spreading His Majesty's teachings not only in Jamaica, but across the diaspora. From reasoning circles in Kingston to the small country communities in the U.S., such as Idor, Ross Iris made sure the faith was not only preserved, but grown. One of our interviewees, Ross Pele, put it perfectly. He said that Ross Iris was part of a long-distance relay race, and he saw it as his duty to pass on the flaming torch, not for glory, but for continuity, for the survival and strength of Rastafari through generations. And that is what this class is about. It is our way of carrying on that flaming torch, of documenting the teachings and impact of someone who knew that the race wasn't about speed, but about endurance. About making sure the light doesn't go out when your leg of the race is over. Through this film and the paper, we hope to honor that baton that Ross Iris carried and passed to so many. Because now it is in our hands, and it is our turn to keep running, to keep planting, to keep the fire burning for those who will come after us.
Yeah.
And as we prepare to share this documentary, we are deeply moved by the timing. Its release is set to coincide with African Liberation Day, a day of remembrance, resistance, and renewal. It's the day that represents the struggle for freedom and justice for African peoples across the globe. And it aligns perfectly with Ross Iris's vision and values. Ross Iris stood firm in his commitment to African liberation, not just through politics, but through spiritual liberation. He taught that knowing who you are, knowing your history, living in alignment with your roots is an act of resistance. And this is what African Liberation Day represents. A call to consciousness, a reclaiming of identity, and a commitment to unity and love among African peoples everywhere. By releasing this documentary on or around this sacred day, we hope not to only honor Ross Iris's dream, but also to contribute to the ongoing work of liberation. His life was part of that work, and now it is our turn to carry the torch.
All right.
As young people stepping into this work, we recognize how important it is to listen, to really listen, to the voices and experiences that have shaped Rastafari. This documentary was born from that listening, from a desire to understand, preserve, and pass on that fire that Ross Iris lit in so many hearts. Because Ross Iris wasn't just a man, he was a movement, a teacher, a warrior, a root. He nurtured the culture, the liberty, and the language and made sure it wouldn't just survive, but thrive. And when people speak his name, sometimes you can still hear it, like the strike of a match in the quiet. Iris.
Iris. Inside.
That sound, that fire, that spark of liberty. But as we all know, a match eventually goes out. The flame flickers and fades. But what Ross Iris left behind wasn't just a fire. It was embers, glowing, alive, carried in the hearts and works of those continuing this trod. And that's why we've called this project Embers of Liberty, the trod teachings and testimonies of Ross Iris.
Yeah. Rastafari. Inside.
Because even when the match is gone,
The warmth remains.
The light lives on.
And the liberty continues to burn.
Jah
Rastafari.
Rastafari.
Rastafari. Rastafari.